initial inquiry led to me being able to get on the phone directly with the imaginative author and maker and convince Harold to start to consider selling me everything. Based on the book, I thought it would amount to about 15 sets. That would be an awful lot for me to absorb all at once, both financially and space-wise. Sally has allowed us to have toy soldiers on display in every room of the house now, except the bathroom. That could easily be resolved with a plastic guy. There's a plastic octopus in the tub, right? So, anyhow, it was a lot for me to swallow at that time, but I became determined to try to find a way to make it happen with Sally's blessing. So then Kate, Harold's daughter, started emailing me notes, the detailed inventory, and photo after photo. My first reaction was like, oh my God, because many of the sets that she's sending me pictures of were complete mysteries to me, and they were cross-referenced to higher page numbers than appear in my book. They included a complete turtle pen for making, they were renowned for their turtle soup. It was a favorite of Queen Victoria. Garrison artillerymen manning Fort Catherine, and lots more that just appeared nowhere in my copy of Bermudiana. Right there, that's a copy of a photo of the turtle pen. Right next to them is you can see the catering court at the bottom there. They're posing for a photographer because some general had caught a record-sized swordfish. Right behind that. And then the next photo shows Fort Catherine. There's searchlight, the big gun, manned by the garrison artillery, and it's garrisoned by the 4th East Landing Regiment in the pink. So after talking it out, we figured out that the discrepancy came from, I had a 56-page first edition of Bermudiana dated July 1900. Up until that point, and again, this is over a passage of years, I had no idea that Harold would expand the book to 72 pages in a July 1902 second edition. So this is the second edition. And it turned out that the collection actually totaled 30 sets, twice as many as I anticipated, including Harold even made 7 sets for this, but he didn't picture them in either edition. So after catching my breath and checking our bank account, I struck a deal to bring it all home. Thank God for installment payment plans. This is this next picture. The collection did not include a band, and I love bands. So to add a musical note, Harold specially made for me the famous 11th Fort Gough Line Infantry Band, clad in pink. The booklet says it has performed every Friday evening for the people of East Landing for more than 100 years, a record for any British Empire regimental band. Well, this again, I know most of you guys will appreciate the how, what's the right word? I want to say anal, but that doesn't sound right. Harold also gave me 32 paint samples with identification tags. And these are really interesting to me because these prototypes are very compelling because they illustrate how he didn't just make stuff up, he thought about it, he experimented while deciding whether to switch a unit's racial makeup, change the headgear, or maybe make a light paint tunic darker and brighter. And I asked Harold, why pink? And his answer was, because it's such a Caribbean color. I was tickled pink. The next picture, this is one of the, it's actually a couple of different groups, but one of the things was the people originally came to Bermudiana. It was a shipwreck. They were running out of water. At the last possible moment, they found a good well. So this story and tradition has been carried on by what they call the sacred well ceremony. And you can see how the soldiers are drawing water from that well. They're dishing it out, and then there's also a couple of ladies manning a table and handing out oranges. And they're also, the lady on the left is giving away roses. This is from the victory occasion. This is the 8th New Bradford Regiment. It's too long of a convoluted story, but this is their victory syllabub celebration, and basically they take fresh milk and mix it with wine. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Overall, the display features 348 civilians, soldiers, and sailors, including 18 standard bearers. There are all kinds of fanciful ceremonial figures, beasts, wagons, machine guns, the styrofoam fort named after Kate, tables and benches, the turtle pen, supplies, the well, trees, and lots of other accessories. And then what I did after we brought this home is I already had the same Georgian style backdrops that Harold used. So there's exceptions, but I just basically tried to recreate the victory parade as it progressed in Harold's book. And there's route liners. I used some of the prototype figures appearing. They're all over the place on the shelves. I used some of them like route liners, and there's an example of the box top. So when Sally and I first visited the Pestanas in Maine, Harold showed me World War I style British Royal Flying Corps two-seater airplanes. He basically modeled them in the style of a Sopwith Camel and an Airco DH-2 pusher aircraft with the engine and the propeller mounted at the back of the fuselage. He was also working on a wooden fuselage of a twin-engine bomber with a mammoth wingspan. And it's probably about this wide. It would never fly in real life with two little engines, but it looks really cool. And he made the hangar too. And he made ground crew. There's 29 pilots and ground crew with that. And this all eventually took Wing Tour home to become I call it the anachronistic Bermudiana Air Force. Just like those motorcycle guys were an anachronism. It took me a long time to find a suitable display cabinet, make a spot for it in our dining room, get things unpacked and lined up in fairly the same order as they appeared in Harold's Victory Parade. I mentioned I had the backdrops. On the bottom shelf, I found a poster of Hobby Lobby to look like the oceans in the background with an island. Simple stuff like that. And the aerodome is on the top. Too many pages. So now the incredibly colorful, idiocentric, iconic, and one-off Bermudiana land of imagination, created by my hobby hero Harold Pestana, and illustrated in its absolutely brilliant booklets is the highlight of my collection. I think it's one for the books, and it's one for the ages. Every time I gaze at it, I still think of Harold, and a giant grin spreads across my face, and I am tickled pink. And that's it. So that's it. I just, like a lot of us, take history seriously, but I like things with a sense of humor. And I like anachronisms too. So that's concludes my talk.